We will begin this evening talking about international tourism, which apparently, according to reports, is under economic pressure and immigration scrutiny. The thing is, the tourism is becoming much more uneven. International travel in the U.S. is still below 2019 levels, pre-2019 levels. Fewer visitors coming from Canada and parts of Europe, rising travel costs, economic pressure are leading some travelers to choose other destinations, especially Mexico. At the end of 2024, analysts expected international arrivals in the U.S. to grow by roughly 9%. Okay, that sounded optimistic, but instead, the new data shows the opposite. In fact, overseas arrivals have slipped 3 months in a row, and the forecast has been revised to an 8.2% decline in 2025, with total inbound spending expected to fall about 4.2%. So that may not sound like a lot, but according to this, an estimated loss of $8.3 billion.
I would say definitely a drop in international buyers, specifically Canadians.
Right.
That I think that's a big topic. Miami and southern Florida does a lot more international business. Up here in the Palm Beaches, obviously it's international. It's more international than a lot of places in the U.S., but less, right? In the condo market, and condos historically are, snowbirds, Canadians,
right,
other people who are outside the country that just want something that they can close the door and not have anything to worry about. They're paying their maintenance fee, done. But we're seeing, the condo market the inventory has been going up and up and up while the demand has been kind of coming down. I think there's a lot of factors. I think one of the bigger factors, and you said, hey, more people are going to Mexico than to places in the U.S. It's just well, the U.S. is expensive.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we've hit peak levels of unaffordability. We've said this so many times. And so when that happens, people seek cheaper markets, whether it's for places they're going to live or places they're going to vacation. And Mexico's a good example of that. Travel increases when people are making money. And so we're in a little bit of a different moment, I think, economically, and that's a factor. I found this interesting. $38.5 billion is what was brought in from visitors in 2024. This is a real business. This is a real thing. So to even come off 1% or 2% is real money. Viceroy, Fort Lauderdale, where condo comes to a lifestyle passport. Comes with a lifestyle passport.
It looks nice.
Yeah. Picture this. You close on a condo in Flagler Village, and instead of just a set of keys, you're handed an entire new life, pickleball courts, lakeside dinners, and VIP treatment in hotels across the world. They're saying they're not just selling square footage in a tower designed by, I don't even know how to pronounce that company, interiors by the Rockwell Group.
Architectocana.
Yeah.
Architectoconica. Guys, you need to relabel.
It is, right? It is selling a daily rhythm with concierge teams that stock your fridge, walk your dog, schedule your spa time, and book your courts at South Florida's premier pickleball club. That's downtown, just north of Las Olas, right?
Yeah.
And so good location. So if you want to be in the city in Fort Lauderdale and live at peak luxury or have the best services out of any building, I think that's what they're trying to offer here, right? Mm-hmm. They've really increased the amenity load here and the amount of humans that are going to be servicing their, the residents. And I'm very curious what the cost associated with this is all going to be. I'm sure the maintenance fee or the association fee is a big number. It's probably relatively bigger than most.
And we have a developer that is asking the city for $7 million in tax rebates. Am I understanding this correctly? A vacant corner at Federal Highway and Ocean Avenue in Boynton is about to turn into 371 new homes. But before any concrete gets poured, the developer has come back to the city asking for more help. Because why not? An extra $7 million in tax rebates on top of the $9 million already approved. So this is Ocean One, a massive mixed-use redevelopment plan for 114 through 222 North Federal Highway in Boynton. Started at $9 million tax incentive deal to bring in new apartments, retail, and public parking to a long-stalled downtown site. Now the developer, as mentioned, is asking to raise that incentive up to $16 million and extend it to 15 years. And needless to say, that opens up a lot of questions.
Boynton has so much potential, and there's so much opportunity there if all these developers just get after it. So if you zoom in a little bit, Ben, just a little bit, you can kind of see what the downtown looks like. Okay, so we're talking east of what is that, Seacrest there, just a little, and you could see the city and the community redevelopment agency owns. You see all that vacant land. There's like some vacant land.
Yeah, I mean, I know it. I've been through there many times.
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of empty spaces.
And the CRA owns stuff like all around there, and then there's developers that own most of that stuff in that south Boynton Beach Boulevard corridor, south of Boynton Beach Boulevard, east of Seacrest, right, and then just and all the way to the beach, right? Mm-hmm. And so this developer over here, I mean, they've been messing around with that space forever. All planned and approved city projects, or at least the city's like, hey, yeah, go do that. Like we agree with the premise. That little sector could and will change long term. It will change. It's just taking forever. So this is just like another.
I was going to say, we were talking about this almost 3 years ago. So because I'm looking at City Hall, so brand new, and just there was a lot of open spaces around. I'm like, wait a minute, have they still not done anything?
Yeah. So it says here, for years, the corner of Federal Highway and Ocean Ave represented stalled progress in Boynton Beach. And that goes for so many of these other plans, with plans approved and land assembled, but no construction ever starting. This is the same story for like 7 other parcels that have been assembled. And there's guys that have assembled big parcels in this area. That changed in 2022 when Hyperion Development Group bought the 3.7 acre site for $12 million and revived the Ocean One project, which we were excited about and you and I have talked about. Yeah. But again, which bringing new momentum to downtown redevelopment. The key issue now is how much public funding the city will contribute and whether the project still makes financial sense as economic conditions continue to change. This 371 rental apartment project could be the catalyst to get things going, but they're basically asking to double what they got already, and I just don't know if the city's gonna play ball with this. So it looks like they're just making this attempt. By the way, I don't know. Things aren't working out there because clearly they can't figure out how to make money on it. Across Florida's 8 largest metros, prices for existing homes and condos are projected to fall an average of 1.9% in 2026, while nationally prices are expected to rise about 2.2%. Only one major Florida metro is forecasted to post positive price growth: Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, up just 1.1%. Okay, so the projection is 1.1%. And this is the conversation I have with a lot of my sellers. I'm like, hey, if we're projecting 1.1%, should we wait to sell if we're on the market and we're not getting our perfect number, or should we just sell? What is 1% of our sale price? Statistical perspective, where we're actually seeing the data show prices are less today than they were yesterday. But we can also just feel it from the homes we sell, from people who are listed homes with us that paid, X dollars in 22, 23, and 24, and they're selling for X minus whatever, right? And it's just a thing. They're selling for less, even with upgrades. Like, guys, this is like scary. Just be careful. Cape Coral is projected to see prices drop 10%. Okay, so you may have seen this, right, on Instagram and everywhere else. Cape Coral, the worst housing market in the country.
Oh, yeah.
So that's an example. 10% price drop in Cape Coral. Holy smokes. I had a broker reach out to us to sell us a big apartment building in Cape Coral, and I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of top dollar. I'm just like, we gotta watch that. Northport, 8.9%. Tampa, -3% year over year forecast. Yep. Kissimmee down 1%, 1.6%. Orlando area. Jacksonville down 1.4%. So it's interesting to just see the market, and this is why me and my partner are very cautious about where we're investing and why we haven't bought stuff very recently. Communication here is like, hey, prices haven't fallen to like 2019 levels, and nor do we expect them to.
Right.
We just expect prices to come down a little bit more.
The couple who sold Stallone that house has now listed their Manalapan home for $85 million.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's check it out. This, on the surface, looks like a simple story. Wealthy couple sells Palm Beach estate to Sly Stallone and then lists their next one for $85 million. But when you zoom in, you see a very deliberate series of moves along one of the most coveted stretches of coastline in South Florida. Wow, that's really nice of them to say that with Manalapan. We're going to follow how Ron and Cindy McMacken traded one trophy property for another and upgraded it into a private resort and then quietly secured an even larger ocean-to-lake lot up the street. This is a very nice home, and I'm just looking at some of the additional information here. Local reports list 24 to 31 luxury homes in Manalapan alone, with prices starting at $21 million. Yeah, we know. It's Manalapan. It's very nice. Obviously, too, billionaires tend to buy multiple adjacent parcels, often tearing down existing structures and then building their mega compounds, ask Ken Griffin. This is all about creating the irreplaceable estates rather than the short-term flips. So I guess the McMackins are having a lot of fun doing that.
Flying 20-minute taxi rides from Miami to West Palm could start in 2026. So this is kind of interesting. Yeah. And the renderings of these things, or whatever they are, the concept vehicles are pretty epic here.
It's basically a huge drone, that can seat people, which you knew that was how it was going to happen,
Yeah. In a couple of years, that Miami to West Palm drive, that steals 90 minutes of your life, maybe longer, but could shrink to 20 minutes via flight through an electric air taxi. The Miami to Palm Beach story is simple and painful. Booming population, limited road capacity, brutal commute times. Of course, we know this. Actually, so I was just doing this with one of the guys that was looking to rent that super expensive house, and he's like, "Oh, Aventura's got a really big house. Let's look at that one. It's on the beach, et cetera, et cetera." It's the only house on the beach that we can find close to Miami. And he's like, "Oh, what's it? 20-minute drive?" And I'm like, "Let's just GPS it real quick." It's like an hour and 15 minutes from Aventura at 4 p.m. So a little kind of whatever, to like downtown Miami.
And I'll tell you what, it makes you wonder if they're intentionally trying to get these, air taxis ready for the World Cup. I mean, that's a
good point.
It's the perfect place to show it off. It's also very practical with everybody who's renting places around there who have the money, be like, "Oh, I'm going to go take an air taxi to the game." You mean a helicopter? No.
Just call the air
taxi.
The Uber.
Have you seen the app? It's incredible. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm kind of like the little kid in me, keeps thinking about George Jetson, and I'm like, this is gonna be so cool. The eVTOL, electric vehicle. I forget what TOL stands for. TOL. I don't know. Anywho, that's
they can do 20 to 50 mile hops.
Yeah.
Is the whole thing, right? Top speed 150 miles per hour.
That's crazy for something that's electric.
Yeah. Quick turnarounds and minimal charge time between flights. So instead of burning fuel, turbines, you have electric motors. So noise profile is dramatically lower than traditional helicopters. Kind of interesting, right?
That's actually cool. And it's looking at some of the renderings. Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the renderings, and they're like, wow, that's actually different than what I pictured in my head. Honest to God, in my head, I pictured just like, kind of the standard DJI drone you see, and just except making it to scale to fit 4 people, a pilot, and luggage.
Who's backing this, and why real estate people should care? Stephen Ross, billionaire owner of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And also super involved in downtown West Palm Beach. So West Palm to Miami.
Yeah.
That makes
right.
sense. That's what happened here. This is what it is. Ross just wants to get to Miami fast.
Well, and I'll tell you this. I mean,
I'm sure he takes a helicopter right now anyway.
Well, right. Exactly.
Sure. Sorry.
But here's the thing. Theoretically, it's like, let's pretend it's like $200 to get there. I mean, as much as some of these Brightline tickets can cost, you got some real competition there. It's like, oh, you want to take the Brightline down there? Nah, let's just take an air taxi. Why not? It's faster, 100%. Better view. Don't have to put up with anyone. It's like, all right. Now, maybe they'll have like ride-sharing air taxis. Like, I want to save a few bucks here. So maybe we'll pick up somebody in Aventura and then keep going until we get down there. Yeah.
Miami Mayor Francis Suarez has also positioned this as part of the city's identity, a place that bets early on new mobility and uses the sky as infrastructure, not just empty space above traffic. He's all in on cool stuff. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
All right.
Archer is targeting as early as 2026.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they want that for the World Cup so bad. You know they want to show it off. UAE fund invests in Wellington Equestrian because they are a real estate heavyweight. All right, so let me make sure I'm understanding. So picture this. You're watching riders fly over fences at Wellington International, but the real jump is happening behind the scenes, where a UAE developer just bought into the entire equestrian lifestyle machine. This is the moment Wellington quietly goes from local powerhouse to global destination project. Well, if you're into equestrian, I thought they kind of already were. I like saying the word Abu Dhabi, and it's actually an Abu Dhabi-based group called Modon. They've taken a minority stake in Wellington Lifestyle Partners. Who's Wellington Lifestyle Partners? Glad you asked. It's a group that controls the Wellington International Showgrounds and a growing portfolio of luxury real estate developments in Wellington.
So these guys bought into a company that owns Wellington International Showgrounds, as an example. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, they're like making a real estate play by like JVing or giving some liquidity to this bigger company.
I see.
Yeah. So instead of just like trying to figure out how to aggregate their own stuff and build their own stuff, they're just like, let's just go buy into this. They own the Wellington, a newly approved private club community, planned 253 luxury homes, and of course, the Marketplace, a mixed-use village concept, boutique hotel, the Wanderers Club, a golf and country club already in the portfolio. So they got more projects coming, and they've owned and operated some of these things out there, right? Mm-hmm. The people behind the curtain. Mark Bellissimo, founder and co-owner of WLP. He and his group sold Wellington International in 2021 to European investors, then bought it back in 2024. That alone tells you they see unrealized value ahead. Very interesting. The UAE has outlined a $1.4 trillion investment strategy in the U.S., spanning real estate, data centers, renewable energy, and other major sectors.
Yeah. Major
players include...
Oh, and as I'm looking at the CNBC article that Ben pulled up, you know, the White House acknowledging that, it's interesting because that was my thought. I was like, well, you know, we've talked about how there's much more limitations on international buyers and stuff like that, but it's like UAE's like, you know, we're just going to throw 1.4 trillion. All right, cool, welcome.
I think they have a good relationship with the administration, right? Yeah.